Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Avgn 1 and 2 Deluxe Totally Perfect Nerd Trophy walkthrough. And this is episode 35 and this level is called Terrible Tower. And this is actually the very last level in the game. All that remains after this level is the final boss. So if you're using my guide to get the Totally Perfect Nerd Trophy and this is your first playthrough, we are almost at the finish line. And this level, as you can see, has a wraparound effect. I think it is supposed to be inspired by Kid Icarus back from the NES, which was a game that I tried for a bit as a kid, and now that's a hard game. I think anyone who has played it can agree with me on that, and the only ones that may tell you otherwise are probably speedrunners, and I think even speedrunners would agree that it is a fuck-ass hard game. But either way, I'm not here to talk about Kid Icarus, just mentioning it for the wraparound effect that you can see is very heavily used throughout this game. There are a lot of, I should call them environmental puzzles, where you have to move over to the other side. You understand what I mean. And I like this level actually, and this is one of those, I would say, a bit sneaky levels, because it took me more tries than I would think to record. I can't remember how many attempts I did, because one of those levels, it's not jam-packed with enemies. There are not a gazillion death blocks. There are not chaotic platforming moments. But this level is actually not to be underestimated, because it can troll you. There are, even though there are not, as I said, not a gazillion death blocks, they are still there. And the platforming, when you platform and use the screen wraparound, it takes, I would say it takes a little bit getting used to. Maybe not so much for you as it does for me, because we're all different players, and how quickly we learn, call it, new mechanics. Not the most common mechanic, but nowadays there aren't many vertical scrollers either, or most games aren't. But now we're almost at the finish line. There is just the very final part left, and this, when I failed this level, this is basically where it happened. Because when you get to the end, that's when your nerves can fuck you over. And you see, the detonator is only up there. So if you have full health, I also have a bunch of kegs. But I want to do this somewhat smoothly, prestigiously. But feel free, these spike balls, just tank through the hits. Get to the detonator, just stay away from the death blocks. And if you have beaten this, you have the perfect screen. Now all that remains is the final boss, and you will have the Totally Perfect Nerd Trophy. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.